Intake, how may I help you? One right now. He was just shot. He had a bench warrant. He failed to appear in court. He had a criminal mischief and 2 counts of violation of probation. And they just brought him to us finally.
I was just walking down the street. I guess I had a bench warrant for not appearing in court, and a cop knew me by face and just turned around and picked me up.
Okay, the nurse said you can have an extra blanket to roll up to keep your arm up, okay?
All right.
While you're in your room. Well, he just told me when I asked what had happened to his arm that he was robbing a drug dealer, and he stated that he was trying to be good to keep the drugs off the street.
Well, I have a reputation as a drug dealer, a gang member, just a bad kid. Now that I'm 18, it'll just be dropped, won't it?
No.
It won't?
No. That's what juveniles think. I mean, it's up to the judge, but you're not really behaving yourself right now.
Yeah, yeah. I ain't gotten in no trouble in a couple months.
Besides this.
I had run away from home when I was 17. Just wasn't talking to my mom, wasn't getting along real well. And so I didn't go to that court date because I wasn't at home.
Tell me exactly what happened to your arm.
Well, one of my boys told me that this drug dealer was trying to get with his lady. So I had his lady set him up, and I was gonna rob him and take his weed.
How'd you have the lady set him up?
Because he was trying to get with her. So then she called him over and said that her boy wanted some weed. And when she gave him a hug, I just started hitting him and shit. And then he pulled out the gun.
Hitting him with what, your fist?
Yeah, and then he pulled out the gun from under the seat and just shot me.
And they decided not to charge you with attempted robbery?
Mm-hmm. I like the rush of seeing how close I can get to getting caught without actually getting caught. That's kind of what I like to do.
Do you think counseling's gonna help you?
But no, actually, this getting shot thing helped me. It made me realize when I was close to dying. Well, I was living on the streets until I just got shot, and then when I got shot, I begged my mom to let me come back, and she let me do it, but it's hard out there.
Have a seat and we'll give your mom a call.
Hello?
Hi, can I please speak with Deanna?
This is her.
Okay. Devon was arrested for his bench warrant, and he'll have a detention hearing on Monday morning.
Okay.
And then have you been having any problems with Devon at home?
Absolutely not. Nothing.
You don't suspect any drug use, gang activity?
Nothing.
Nothing at all? Okay.
My mom and I, we don't always get along. I mean, well, most of the time we don't get along, but she sticks with me a lot of the time.
Would you like to speak to him?
Sure.
Okay.
Hello?
Hey.
You're gonna be able to make it on Monday?
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right. If I don't get out, the only thing they can do is give me at most 120-day commitment.
Okay.
So, I don't know, I guess I'll see you on Monday.
Okay.
I love you.
All right, love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
We just started recently speaking. When I got shot, she came into the hospital, and she just started crying, and then took me home, and we'd been trying to build our relationship back up.
That one hand on top of your head. What's your arm?
Yeah, shot.
Hey, yeah, shot.
Yep. Huh? when I got shot, shit, I was robbing dude. I got the weed, I started stealing off of him, and then he reaches over the seat, pulls out a gun, and had it aimed at my chest, but I moved at the last minute and it hit me in the arm. A little flesh wound and shit. Hell no, that shit hurt, man. My bone, like, I can't even move my lower arm or nothing. I've been locked up 3 of the past 4 years. 3 of the past 4 years, that's a lot of my childhood.
Come on, man. You got to get it together, man. You got to be tired of seeing us, man.
Teenage years right down the drain. I mean, this is the time I'm supposed to be having the most fun of my life. I've been inside these damn cells. Can't wait to get out of here and just start a new life.
My guess, it's gone. My guess.
Who's the brothers? You two are brothers? Those two are brothers. They're on probation.
They participate with the vice lords. They've damaged about 20 vehicles.
20 vehicles?
Yeah.
It was like some weeks ago, we had did some stuff over there at the bus station, but they just not coming to get us.
You guys are the world's dumbest criminal. They got you on video.
They had a picture of me. They were like, is this your son? My mom was like, no, because on the picture, it don't look like me. So they're like, we about to charge you for lying to the police, because my mom on probation too. So they said, if I don't turn myself in, they were gonna give my mama 6 years.
Hey, come on back. Step back a little bit.
I'm very mad at myself. I wish I never done the things I did.
Talk with you. Stay sharp and come back. It's
The judge, she's gonna let you know how funny it is. You see the judge, she's gonna let you know how funny it is. It's not no laughing matter. You understand? Because you just caught red-handed.
You know the routine by now, I'm sure, right? Go ahead, have a seat. When I do this intake, I'm not going to ask you if you did any of this, and I don't want you to tell me, you know, your side of the story. I'm not going to do that, okay? You've been here. This is your 6th complaint. No, actually, this will be your 7th complaint. You just left here, and that is, what, 2 weeks later, and you're here. He has, like, a quiet reserve about him. And for somebody that has like a history like that, like his disposition doesn't add up. I'm looking at your history here and I see that you first got arrested when you were 11 years old.
Yes.
His dad is incarcerated for dealing crack, he said. And then a month later, you were arrested for mischief, battery, consumption, intimidation, robbery, and theft. You know, there's 10 kids, it's a large family. 5 have been here. So that tells me, you know, there's more to the story. He has seen a lot.
Were your parents contacted?
Oh, yeah.
You care to talk to them again? Would you like to talk to your parents again? Yes. Just keep signing. You got 7 pages total. Yes, this is Lake County Juvenile Center. I'm calling for the parent or guardian of Kentrell Cradle. Okay, he was brought in by Gary Police Department for criminal mischief, theft, and criminal trespass.
Okay.
Okay, he's gonna have a D hearing on Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning.
What about my other son, Kenneth?
He's here as well.
Okay, you know when his court also Monday?
Same, Monday at 8 o'clock.
Monday at 8?
Correct. Would you like to talk to your son, Kentrell?
Okay, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah. You already said right Monday. That they might let you go.
But I ain't do nothing, though.
Okay, so therefore they might let you go. Well, I'll see you on Monday.
Okay.
I love you.
Love you, too.
Kentrell?
That's him.
That's him. Is it Kenneth or Kentrell?
His name Kentrell, my name Kenneth.
Okay.
I just wish he never got himself into this. I always try to be the big brother, tell him don't do bad stuff.
Now, you need to know that there's a good chance on Monday you might not go home.
He's basically one of those incidents where we didn't practically raise the kid.
I turned 18 on June 26th, and around the end of April, I went on the run, so I didn't go to my last court date.
Shark, you got to be tired of this, man. Straight up. You can't weld, Shark. And I done seen this guy about 4 or 5 times, and he's basically one of those incidents where practically raised the kid.
This gunshot wound, man, I mean, that kind of turned me around. Made me kind of think, man, I was this close to being killed. I mean, I want to do something with my life. I'm tired of coming back into this damn place.
Okay, go ahead and sign right there. Make sure everything's correct. Now, you need to know that there's a good chance you might not go home on Monday.
Why?
Because you're currently on probation and you have an open complaint. That may be the case, but as far as come Monday when court, the judge make the decision whether or not you can go home. There's a good chance you need to know that. So.
When you were arrested, did Gary Police Department tell you what charges you were arrested for? Okay, they arrested you for criminal mischief, theft, and criminal trespass.
Yeah, we just get bored because they ain't got no type of activities, no like clubs, no fun centers or nothing out here. So that's why people, they just trying to have fun even though it's breaking the law, but they think of it as having fun.
You know, you're a year away from 18. This is your 7th complaint. What do you want the court to do with you?
Like, give me a year house arrest.
A year of house arrest?
Go ahead and walk on the right side of the hallway.
I hope he get out. He don't know how this is. He ain't never been in this situation like this where he had to come here and do no days in here. He don't know how to react in here. He don't know what to do and consequences and stuff if you do something bad in here.
Read these rules. His brother's here as well, so I'm not sure where line you want to put him at.
He don't know, like, he's still a little kid. He don't need to be in here.
Alan did the intake on your brother, and he's telling me you accidentally shot him in the stomach last year.
That's when I was 11.
That's when you were 11
Yeah.
that you accidentally did that? Wow.
That's when I first got into the juvenile system.
Oh. You still think about that?
Always.
You're gonna take these boxes up too, squat and cough. Go ahead. You're gonna squat down like a catcher and cough twice. Yeah, just like that. Squat down, cough twice. All right, no, one more. You gotta cough twice.
I gotta make sure he's separated though. I can't put him over there with his brother.
That's what I'm saying. Put him up there and then put his brother in the lower side H spot. We want to keep them separated so that when court comes, they can't get their stories to match. They can't lie. You put this lice on, you're just gonna kill any lice if you have lice. If not, it's not gonna hurt you. Go ahead. So that's why we keep him separated. So he won't see his brother until it's court day.
I've been on probation since 2003 or 2004. I've had multiple violations. I mean, I burnt all my bridges. Turn this light out. I just kept getting in trouble, bringing trouble all around me.
Trying to get through to one person is probably the hardest thing in the world to do. You can start with a child this small and then you're around it constantly every day, and it just takes one bad seed to say, hey, no, man, come this way. And then there he goes, and you've lost him.
At first, I was living with my stepmom. I started bringing drugs and alcohol into her house. She kicked me out.
It can be frustrating, and it gets frustrating when you pick up the paper and you know you put in a lot of hard work to a kid and he or she is about to do 20 to 25 years in prison. It becomes frustrating.
I got one of my closest friends arrested with me. His dad didn't want me there no more because we ever got him arrested.
When I first started, it was like I was trying to help these kids out, you know? I had more of the intention to help these kids out. Now, to be honest, I don't really look at it that way no more.
And then I was stealing from people that were closest to me, so no one really trusted me anymore.
No matter how many times I tell this kid, you know, that, hey, you know, there's other choices, you know, I see them next week coming, you know.
Every time I got in trouble, I'd be like, all right, this is the last time. I'll say whatever I can say to get out of trouble. But this time I can't say nothing, I just have to show them.
The one thing I like working with children is that once they turn 18, the record is clean. Everything starts new again. I would tell them, you know, now you got a second chance. You're on your way.
I know I can make it in life. I know I can do the right thing.
I can't stop getting behind the wheel. Like I was walking down the street and I seen somebody had left the keys in the ignition and I took that car too.
You got a need for speed. It's not just a video game. People really need it. Need for speed.
People who's in these places like this ain't just bad kids, they just make bad choices at that time.
Yeah, I've been in 2 high-speed chases. 3, 4.
And they charged me with escape. They told me it was a Class D felony.
You ain't gotta worry about that.
And they calling me escape. You ain't gotta worry about that. They just trying to say
People can't judge the book by its cover. They don't understand why we do stuff illegal, like sell drugs and stuff. It ain't that easy to get a job, and I don't want to see my family out on the streets.
How many guys are ready to make a change in your life today? I want you to raise your hand. I want you to hold it there for a minute.
Every day I think about how I'm gonna survive when I go outside. Is I'm gonna be able to come back home peacefully.
But you know what? The minute you show up at someone's house and someone pops a cold brew in your face, what are you gonna do? Exactly. We got one honest person in here.
I just need to be in a different environment where people, where it's less violence happening, less bad activities going on in the neighborhood. That's where I think I need to be.
I acknowledge, Lord, that you've done everything for me. By dying on the cross, by raising from the dead.
I've been through so many of these court dates. I don't know, I mean, it's right now in my head, it's a 50-50, detained or released. I mean, you think about it, a judge, you got this prosecutor, that's a lot of big people to go against when you're just by yourself.
When you sleep in here, you always think about what's gonna happen in court, like what they gonna say, what they gonna do to you, if they gonna detain you or is they gonna release you. And when your court day comes, if they say you detained, I might cry because I ain't gonna be able to see my parents, my family no more.
I can't be doing this. I'm 18 years old. I got a lot of years to live. And if I keep messing around with this, I'm gonna end up dead or in jail.
Okay, come on, guys.
Is that all right if I get extra milk?
No, man, I don't know, dog. I'm always trying to get over.
Once you get into the system, ain't no turning back. And here, you always think about your court dates, think about what's gonna happen in court, like what they gonna say, what they gonna do to you.
All right, guys. My name is Attorney Don Ruck. I've been appointed by the court to represent both of you tomorrow for the detention hearing. All right, when was the last time that you guys had a chance to see each other?
Friday at intake.
Okay. One of the challenges that we're going to have is convincing the court, and the judge in particular, that despite you having been here before and not learned your lesson, that you're going to learn your lesson this time and not get into trouble again. So help me understand some of the things that are going on in your life that help demonstrate that.
Like when school started, I was gonna get on the basketball team. I was gonna get a job. I had a lot of things going on that better than getting in trouble.
Obviously, being in here makes it more difficult to accomplish those kind of goals. So the good thing that both of you have going for you is the purpose of this entire system is to help you guys get back on track. It doesn't mean this is going to be a cakewalk, and obviously you guys have been living through this now the last couple of days and know that this is a very serious situation.
Yes, it is.
So Kentrell, let me talk to you a little bit first about what things do you do when you're not here?
I play ball.
Where do you play ball at?
At the court.
And tell me a little bit about that. What do you do? What position do you play?
I just play ball.
And what else do you do besides playing basketball?
Chill. I just wish you never got yourself into this. You still a little kid. I just pray every day, like, I hope he get out.
I know you're a very quiet person, but I mean, you got to make a decision if you want to stay in here or not. Because when it comes time to look the judge in the eye and say, you know, here's why I need to get out of here and why I need to go home. You know, here's what I'm going to do next time. You know, why I'm not going to come back and, you know, be handcuffed and brought in by the police next time.
Later on in life, I will be a role model for my little brother after I get myself together. I can't teach him now because we're in the same situation now. Can't teach him now, but later on in life, I will teach him.
We'll put both you guys on the stand, ask you guys some questions, and the prosecutor's going to have a chance to ask you guys some questions. And she's tough. And she is tough. I mean, her job is to protect society from people who commit crimes and people who commit crimes repeatedly. And that's what she sees in you two right now. Okay, let's be frank.
Like, they decide what they're going to give us. Like, if they decide to get us, let us go home with restrictions, I want it to be like 2 months of house arrest, 48 hours of community service.
All right, Ken, we're not going to be in a position to give specifics about, you know, the terms of your release. We're going to leave that up to the judge, okay? I mean, if we come in there saying you want X, Y, and Z, we're not going to get very far. We've got to come in there on your hands and knees saying, I am so sorry, this is never going to happen again. So I'm not going to get into discussions about, you know, what hours of the day you want to be released and what hours of the day you want to be on home arrest. We're going to go in there saying we are sorry and this is never going to happen again, and you will not see me back in handcuffs, getting out of a police car, coming into this detention center. If the judge thinks that you guys are an ongoing threat and that you're still a danger, get used to this place.
Bench warrant.
What you do to get that bench warrant, though?
Go and not go to court.
That's what a bench warrant is. Yeah, that's what I'm talking. What you have to go to court for?
Probation.
What you do to get on probation then?
Man, I've been on probation for like 5 years.
They better not have me on probation for 5 years.
I'm not really too worried about these court dates. I don't know. I mean, now that I'm 18, legally, they can't hold me no more than 120 days. As soon as I get this legal trouble out of the way, I know I'm gonna have a good life. I have all the essential tools and capabilities to carry me anywhere I want to go. But it's just me finding a way to use them.
Everybody knee on your knees.
And needs temporarily and is unlikely to be provided or accepted without the coercive intervention of the court.
Gentlemen.
Continued in detention. From the court must decide.
How bad? I mean,
Yeah, you can move on.
are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Violates curfew laws.
No talking in the hallway.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going up to holding. You're going to be going to your detention hearings. We get up to holding, you're going to be in the cells, you're just going to have to wait for your court.
I wish I could just go back to when I was 10 years old. With the knowledge that I have now, I could be anywhere if I wouldn't have started messing around with the drugs.
Okay, Mr. Starkey, come around here to the elevator, if you will, please.
It's not like we wake up that morning and say, I'm gonna go out and do this, I'm gonna go rob this person.
Okay, you guys just be patient till you're ready for court, all right?
We don't mean to be bad.
Hey, Ken, I wanted to let you know I talked this morning with your sister. Apparently your mother was having some hypertension or some high blood pressure, some heart problems this morning, and can't be here today. I don't know if she went to the hospital or what the circumstances are, but I talked to your sister, and your sister supposedly is coming, although she was supposed to be here at 8:30 and she's not here yet. It's now about noon. So that's the update on things. Is there something you want me to tell your sister or when I talk to her again? Because she's supposed to call me back in a few minutes.
Tell her she need to bring my mama up here. Bring my mama up here.
I'll let her know, but hang tight here for a little while longer and we'll see if either your mother or your sister can get here.
Come on, man. Come on, guys. Be on your best behavior. You don't act right in court. No way judge is going to trust you to behave in society, okay? Yeah. So sit up straight. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. Along those lines there. I'm going to uncuff you guys before we go in the courtroom. Keep your hands behind your back till you get to your seat. I'm going to swear you in. And both you guys can face this wall right here, okay? Stay to your left. One on the left side here.
Your sister's here.
We can all remain standing. Raise your right hand and answer out loud, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony given today is the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please be seated.
Mr. Ruck, do you have any witnesses that you'd like to call on behalf of the boys?
Judge, I would call Octavia to the stand, please. Ma'am, can you please help the court understand Kenneth and Kentrell, who they are as individuals? Are they good kids? Tell us about them.
It's the crowd that they hang around, and that's referring to both of them. It's a crowd that they hang around, and I tell them.
Are Ken and Kentrell's dad, is their dad in the picture?
He was until about 4 months ago. He's incarcerated.
And their mother's not here today, is that right?
Yes.
And tell us for what reason their mother's not here.
My mom has been going through high blood pressure, and she's just been diagnosed with cancer. She was sick last night, and I had to take her to the hospital. And from that point, I have to stay with the kids. So.
How many other brothers and sisters do you have?
Besides us?
Yes.
Right now there are 9. Kenneth is the one who's really been the man of the house. You know, he's really our backbone.
That's all I have.
Mrs. Guzik?
No questions, Judge.
Thank you. You may have a seat back there.
Thank you.
Judge, I would like to call Ken to the stand.
All right. Kenneth?
Yes.
Okay.
Ken, we spoke yesterday about what the court is here today to decide. That is, whether you should stay detained or whether you should be released. What is your opinion on what the court should do?
My opinion, what the court should do is I should be released because I know I ain't a bad kid. I ain't no harm to nobody. I just made a bad decision at that moment, and I know I did something wrong, but I know I can fix it. Now I know that life is serious, and life more is about me being at home, being with my family, than being locked up.
Kenneth, how many times have you been on probation with this court?
Twice.
Are you on probation right now?
Yes.
is getting involved in criminal acts of violation of probation?
Yes, ma'am.
I have no further questions, Judge.
Thank you. You may have a seat back there.
Okay.
As related to Kentrell Cradle, this is his 4th criminal delinquency. Presently, he has an attempted robbery that would be a B felony if he were an adult, criminal recklessness that would be a D felony. That attempted robbery, in that it's a B felony, tells me that either a weapon was used or a victim was seriously injured. As related to Kenneth Gant, this is his 6th criminal delinquency referral. He's obviously not following the rules of probation. I'd ask that they both remain detained as serious dangers to this community.
Mr. Ruck, what else would you like to say today?
Judge, the preference in any case like this, when children are being detained, that rather than stay locked up, that they go home. And I would suggest that the court should release them home. It may not be the home that we all think is the best environment, but it's their home.
The probation officer has weighed in and has indicated to the court that he feels that both boys should be detained as a danger to the community because of their repeated acts of delinquency. What I'm going to do today is order that they remain detained pending their next hearing. Okay. Any questions?
No, Judge.
All right. Then the hearings are adjourned. These are 2 boys, certainly the younger brother, who was following in the older brother's footsteps. The oldest boy, 6 times he's been detained here. 6 times. And the mom's not here today, and she may or may not be ill. You know, I have no idea. There's no supervision, and I think even if today Kenneth felt, I'm going to be okay, I'm going to be good, and I'm certain that Kentrell would have followed whatever Kenneth wanted to do, it would have only been short-lived. And tomorrow they would be out on the street. They don't know any different. If 6 incarcerations don't change your behavior, 1 overnighter is not going to do it. And I just think that there's no supervision there. It was never a choice for me. I do think that eventually they will end up hurting somebody, if not themselves.
Keep your head up. They both stay in, Mr. Gant. Detained.
We're going to Bonaventura.
Yes. Judge Maribeth. Yes, and go right behind your son and remain standing for me. Could I get everyone to please raise their right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Please be seated.
Will you state your name, please?
Devon Starkey.
And how old are you, Devon?
I'm 18.
All right. We're here today because Devon was arrested on a bench warrant. It says here that Devon Starkey's whereabouts have been unknown by the Lake County Juvenile Probation Department. Further, that he has failed to attend his court-ordered counseling. And lastly, that he has failed to attend an educational program on a regular basis. I'll call you to the stand, okay? All right. Want to have a seat up here, please?
All right, Devon, let's start with counseling. You were ordered by the court to attend counseling, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you attend counseling?
I had left the home and was trying to live on my own, so I didn't attend from April to June.
Well, let's talk about why you left the home. Why did you leave your mother's home?
The reason I left is we started getting into arguments. I was getting into a little bit of trouble. I started smoking weed again. And I left the home because I was scared that when I did go to court, these would be brought up and I would end up getting in trouble.
What were you thinking that was going to happen to this case, Devon?
I was thinking once upon my 18th birthday, it would just be dropped. But as the case is, it isn't.
As it relates to your arm in a sling, what happened to you, Devon?
While I was on my own, I was hanging with the wrong group of people and got myself into a situation where I got shot.
So you are very lucky that you're alive, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You may have a seat back there. Thank you. Yeah. Ms. Monroe, do you wish to call his mother at this time?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. Ms. Ramirez, you indicated that you wanted to take Devon home with you today?
Yes, I do.
Do you think that he learned his lesson this time?
I really do. I think that this was a life-changing thing, and as bad as to say this, it had to happen with him. This scaring him has definitely opened his eyes up to see that he almost died. I almost lost my son.
And you had asked Devon to leave your home, is that correct?
He was smoking weed, and I know he was doing marijuana. And I have a 15-year-old daughter that's sick, and I can't have that stuff in my home. And I had to give him some tough love. And my tough love was he couldn't come home. And for 2 weeks prior to him being shot, I think he had realized how hard it was living on his own. Because he came to me for 2 weeks begging, Mom, please let me come home, please. He said, I'll straighten up, Mom, please. And I wouldn't let him. I said, no, I can't do that. I can't let you in the house. And then I find out he was shot. But I had to stand my ground. He had to see what it was like in the streets and see how bad it was and how he has things at home that he, is there for him. He has a family at home that all of us stand behind him because he has an absolutely great mind. He's wonderful. I mean, he's so smart. And he can do so much if he just turns his life around.
The family support in these hearings, or in general with the kids, whether it's in the hearing or outside the hearing, is monumental. I think if there was one single thing that I could point to be able to predict the success or failure of a young person, is the family involvement and support. Devon's had a lot of services, hasn't he?
He absolutely has.
Sounds like for about 4 years now, the court's been involved not only with his life, but obviously your life as well.
Right.
And so he's turned 18 now. You're a family that's had a lot of intervention, and pretty quickly here, there will be none.
We are there to back him up 100%. I do have a lot of family support. Everybody's pulling for him, but he has to pull for himself.
Mrs. Guzik?
Judge, I'm really torn. Everybody's tap dancing around the shooting of Devon. That wasn't a stray bullet that entered his arm. That was a purposeful act in response to something Devon was doing of a criminal nature. But we also have problems with, he's an adult now. If he sits here for 3 or 4 months, I don't know what that's going to do for him.
Yeah, I don't either. Because I agree with Mrs. Guzik, 120 days here, if 2 years in placement didn't help you change your ways, I'm not so certain that any more time here is going to do anything for you. But, hopefully getting shot in the arm has. Everything happens for a reason, or at least I believe it does. So today what I'm going to do is, you've been here since when?
Saturday evening.
So for 2 days you've been here? Today I'm going to grant this petition to modify your probation, and I'm going to order that you be released to the custody of your mother today.
Thank you.
And I'm going to order that you be released from probation. All right?
Thank you.
Any questions?
Oh, ma'am.
All right. This hearing's adjourned.
Thank you. I was a little surprised. Guess she gave me one last break.
If he was 14, I would be doing something totally different, I'm sure.
You got a good break.
I know.
How long have I known you now? Man, you've been coming here since you were about this big when I first met you, right?
Yeah.
Oh, 13 or 14?
We've done all we can do, and he needs to now begin his adult life and accept the consequences for whatever his actions become now in his adult life.
Are you going home?
Yes.
Huh?
Hope so.
You hope so?
Yes. I've been hanging in. I've been praying that day, reading the Bible that day.
What's your PO saying?
I don't know.
Did they give you a recommendation?
No.
Okay.
What I think would be fair is if she just give me and my brother one more chance. Whatever she decides, but What I think would be best for me is if she send me home, my family, but anything but boys' school placement in Lake County Jail.
These are the matters of Kentrell Purtle and Kenneth Lee Gant. Attorney Ruck is present representing both boys. Your name, please?
Mary Gant, mother.
All right. All right, call your first witness.
Judge, I would call Ken and Kentrell's mother to the stand. Are you able to take Ken and Kentrell home with you today and provide the oversight and support they would need if they were to be released today?
Yes.
Tell us, how would you be able to provide the structure to your son so that they wouldn't get into any more trouble?
For one, I'm gonna keep them in the house. Because I don't want to see them out in the streets, and I don't want them to get hurt, and I don't want them to do the wrong things. I've been trying to teach them, but they goes out in the streets and they listen to their friends and get in trouble. But I want them to come home, because their brothers and sisters done missed them too.
What do you think that the court could do to help you have your sons follow the rules and the restrictions that you put on them?
The house arrest.
How do you think that'll help?
That way he won't go nowhere but to school and back home.
Anything else you'd like to say?
No.
That's all I have, Judge.
Ms. Gant, why do you think that the court telling Kenneth to stay in the house is going to keep him there?
Because he was on house arrest before and he stayed in the house.
What are you going to do differently? He's had 4 referrals to the juvenile court this year alone.
I'm going to take control over them.
How are you going to do that?
I'm going to be a harder parent.
So you don't have any plan in action for it to change? You just think it's going to change?
No, I know it's going to change.
Well, what is the plan in action?
I'm going to put my foot down.
So you didn't before? You just let them do what they wanted to do before?
No, I didn't pretty much let them do anything they want to do.
Okay.
I tell them to do the right thing, but they taking them on themselves to do what they want to do when they outside my house. But when they in my house, they do what I tell them to do.
Okay, so Kenneth defies you?
Sometimes.
I have no further questions.
Thank you, Mrs. Gant.
Thank you.
Mr. Smith, what is your request today?
The probation department is recommending that they remain detained and be ordered to complete a psychological evaluation. There's also in the neighborhood, I've talked to Mom about this, a lot of gang activity on the street that they live on. And I believe that they're affiliated with the gangs out there on the streets as well. A lot of drug activity as well. I've discussed that with her. So I strongly recommend they remain detained pending the psychological evaluations.
Mrs. Guzik, anything else?
Yes, Judge. Regarding Kentrell Purtle, the state would definitely concur with Mr. Smith's recommendation that he remain detained here as a serious danger to this community. The attempted robbery charge pending before the court involves allegations that he, along with a group of other boys, were pelting the intended victim with cinder block, trying to rob him. He's a very dangerous person, and he needs to remain detained. As far as Mr. Gant, state also feels he's a very dangerous person. The court's been dealing with this young man since he was 11 years old. He came into the system with a very, very serious offense, shooting, I believe, his brother. He doesn't really listen to his mother. He shows a lot of disrespect for her. And I think the most important thing that she said today was she can't really say if he would cause harm if he was out in the community. And I think that the court cannot take the chance that he may cause another person harm, and he needs to remain detained as a danger to the community also.
All right, Mr. Ruck, anything else before the court rules?
Judge, we, I guess, agree with the psychological evaluation component of the recommendation, but I would like the opportunity to at least argue that they should no longer be detained while the case pens. In fact, his mother is here today and has indicated and will indicate to the court her willingness to have her sons released to her today.
Well, today, of course, the court will order that both boys have a psychological evaluation.
Yes, I'm going to stay here until then.
I'll make the boys temporary wards of the Department of Child Services so that we can get those services paid for. I know, Kenneth, that you want to leave. I read the letter you wrote to this court about your girlfriend having a baby soon. I'm certain that you would like to be there, as you told me in your letter. You know, I'd like to give you a break here, but in light of this is your 6th referral to this court, 4 in the year of 2008, the court's going to order that you remain detained pending your next hearing and that you may be a danger to yourself or to the community. As it relates to Kentrell, the court is going to also order that he remain detained pending his next hearing because this is his 4th referral to this court, and these are serious charges. And for all of those reasons, the court will find that he may be a danger to himself or to the community, and they'll both remain detained pending their next hearings on September 5th. All right, this hearing's adjourned. Thank you.
Okay.
I don't like anybody to be in pain, certainly not kids. I mean, I love them. I've been doing this job for 26 years, and the work is heartbreaking. But there is no more work that's more important than the work in a juvenile court.
See those guys real quick. Both of you guys know you've got multiple serious charges pending against you. My recommendation to the prosecutor and what she agreed to do is that Kentrell, all you admit to is the trespass. We're not going to get into the theft or the burglary or any of those types of things. Ken, for you, my suggestion with the prosecutor was, and they agreed with it, would that be you admit to the criminal mischief. We're not going to deal with any of the remaining charges for you then at this point. That's all you would admit to, okay? But understand, the agreement is not that if you admit to these that you go home. Our recommendation is certainly still going to be that you go home, but the psychological evaluation, the good news is says that you shouldn't stay here any longer, but that you guys need help somewhere else. So we're making a big step forward today, so let's at least try and get you guys out of here.
Mr. Ruck, have you been served with a copy of the psychological evaluations?
I have, Judge.
And Mrs. Guzik, you have those as well?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Are you ready to proceed, Mr. Ruck?
Judge, I guess what I would like to do is hear from the probation officer.
All right, Mr. Smith, do you want to have a seat up here?
Now, since we were in court several weeks ago, what has happened?
Several weeks ago, we ordered a psychological evaluation to be completed. Both of those evaluations were completed. With Kentrell, we did decide that at this time, in the best interest of the community and for himself, that he be placed in a residential treatment facility.
And what's the purpose of that type of placement?
Hopefully that he take advantage of the things that he needs to become a better citizen and to correct the things that he may be dealing with in the community at this time.
With respect now to Kenneth, why don't you tell us about what your recommendation is?
We also agreed that he needs residential placement to meet his needs.
You're not recommending that they go home with their mother?
Not at this time.
Okay. That's all I have, Judge.
All right, Mrs. Guzik?
I have no further questions.
Did you want to speak or no? You want to try? I can ask you the questions pretty simply. Lisa? Okay. Judge, I'd call their mother very briefly, just for a couple of quick questions. Now, you understand that there's a recommendation that both of your sons be placed in a residential placement for the purpose of receiving a variety of services and educational tools and things like that.
Yes.
What did you want to say with respect to those options? Do you think your kids can come home with you today, or should they?
It's for the best. I want them to come home, but if they need help, I agree with that.
Okay. You just will leave it to the court to decide?
Yes.
That's all I have, Judge.
Thank you, Mrs. Gant. You may have a seat back there. Mrs. Guzik?
Judge, there's no argument that Kentrell needs some type of therapeutic placement. The psychological evaluation shows that Kentrell has some significant mental health needs. My problem with Kenneth is that he's committed numerous acts of delinquency. Well, that's what Indiana Boys School is meant to address. And then you factor in that he's had counseling provided to him, and he hasn't been terribly amenable to the counseling. He has a track record, and the track record isn't very, very good at this point. You know, it's a serious matter for this court to decide that it's going to invest itself in a child to the extent that this county and this court is being asked to invest themselves in Kenneth. And I don't see that there's going to be a lot of bang for our buck, to be perfectly honest. I think he's a dangerous person. I think he should be committed to Indiana Boys School.
Well, I would agree that I think Indiana Boys School can address a lot of the issues that Kenneth is facing. But I know this much, if he were in the adult system, he would not be able to receive the treatment and the rehabilitation and the services that the juvenile court is designed to provide to children like Kenneth and like Kentrell. The state and the taxpayers are going to pay whether we send him to the Department of Correction or we send him to placement. And maybe we won't get the bang for the buck as you've described it, but I'm going to still put my faith in the juvenile court system, and that I think we can do a better job with kids than the adult system can do, and going to jail is going to do for him. I think, you know, Kenneth has a baby now, and I know that he wants to get out of here. He's written me 2 letters, and believe me, I would love nothing more than to send both boys home to you, Mrs. Gant. That would be really the ideal thing to do. But I think you as a mom, which is why you're crying your heart out back there, knows that that's not the right thing right now. Kenneth is on the verge. He's on the verge of either doing something really horrible in his life and take him away from you forever, or he's on the verge of maybe being able to turn that corner, and maybe if we hold his hand and help him turn that corner, he'll be able to do that. I mean, that's all we can do, and that's all I can do as a judge, is hope that he will hear somebody who can reach out to him to make his life better, and him take that advice and do the rest for himself, because we can't walk in his shoes. Only he can do that. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make him a ward of the court in order that he be placed appropriately, but I will set his matter for review in 3 months in any event. And as it relates to Kentrell, I think this is a young man that probably the juvenile court system was designed for in some respects. I couldn't let him walk away from us without trying to get him to a point where he's at least literate and can function in some type of a job. So today the court is going to make him a ward of the court in order that he be placed at IDTC, which stands for the Indiana Developmental Training Center in Indianapolis. All right, then this hearing's adjourned. Thank you.
We got it, man. I hate it, man. Can't do that, man. They don't, man, they don't care about us, man. Ain't no dangerous to no state, man. No community. Man, don't fucking touch me. They don't know us. Oh. I can't do it. Man, damn. Oh my God, man. Damn.
That's what they wait for. Okay?
God, I can't do that.
You're not going there. You're not going there.
Oh my God, man.
Let's go.